Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today I'm covering Ladies of London, Season 2, Episode 3. We are all onesie. You guys, so much going on this episode. It's kind of shocking and I can't wait to get into it. I really want to know whose side you're on all this, especially with the Juliet versus Caroline of it all. Who was wrong? Was Caroline wrong? Did she go too far? I'm very curious. So, yeah, it's such a good season. I'm really enjoying Season 2. I forgot how good it was. And I can't wait to get into it. So let's talk about it. Hey, guys, I just want to take a second and say if you're enjoying this show, please check out my Patreon. Go to patreon.com, search Real Housewives Recaps, or check the comments below and I'll put a link. And for $1 a week, you can support my show and get 4 bonus episodes per month. I'm covering Scary Island, like the greatest season of Real Housewives of New York. So check it out. Thanks so much. So this episode picks up 3 days after Christmas. We start out with Annabelle and Julie. They are meeting up in this fancy hotel to talk about Jub. Is that the worst name of a product you've ever heard? Jub. Her Jub balls. Julie's Unbelievable Balls. J-U-B, Jub. I just keep thinking about that, Jub. Such a weird word, Jub. Okay. She says, when she's not teaching yoga, I'm making these energy balls in my kitchen. And maybe Jub will save Mapperton. So we hear about that. And we also hear about Annabelle is working on a book. It's the Me, Me, Me's. And she was explaining that growing up, she always felt stupid. School was tricky for her, and she was fearful and angry a lot. And she said she saw 20 child therapists by the time she was 8. She decided to write these books about her experiences as a child. She wanted to help other children going through the same things. I think that is the coolest. I mean, it's horrible she had to go through that, but that's really cool that she turned such obvious pain into something that could potentially help other children. I think that's a really cool thing that she did. Julie says to see the other side of Annabelle with the Me, Me, Me books is really exciting. So on a side note, I did a deep dive, as I'm known to do, and I couldn't find Julie's Unbelievable Balls anywhere. The last post about them was about 2015. I can't find anything up to date on that, if they ever became a company or not. I can't find anything about it. Also, I looked up the Me, Me, Me's on Amazon, and it's so sweet. There's a bunch of the books about the angry me, the messy me, all kinds of different me's. And they have really good reviews. So that's sweet. I think that's really cool. So then we go over to Marissa and Matt. They are scoping out this restaurant that they just purchased. They're going to turn it into her top dog. That's what she's calling it. Organic hot dogs and milkshakes and fries. And she said she knows what a good hot dog tastes like and what good American street food tastes like. So she's excited to be opening this up. Then we have Julie Sandwich taking Juliet for a private yoga lesson. Let me tell you a little bit about Julie, because I was very curious about her. So I started Googling and I kind of fell down a rabbit hole with her. Do you know that her net worth is listed at $10 million? Also, the shocking thing that I didn't know is Luke is actually her second marriage. She was married once before and she had 2 kids in that marriage. So 2 kids from previous marriage, and then she and Luke had 2 kids. I just think that's so interesting. I didn't know that. I wonder, I mean, it seems like all 4 kids at the time, they're young at the time, they were living with them. So I would really like to know more about that. Does she have sole custody? Do they go back and forth to America? How does that work? Then we're back over at Gift Library. Now we find out, do you remember that Christmas was supposed to save them and carry over their accounts and keep them running for a while, but unfortunately Christmas was not what they expected. They thought they had 6 months, that they could fund this for, but she says now they think they have 3. She says if this goes under, it will be a story. People want to watch me fail. It took a good 2 years to put this together and raising the money. And she said she built it up by herself from nothing. So then we're at Julie's house. We get to see a little bit more of her house over in Battersea. She's working on a business plan for her jub balls. I'll never stop saying jub balls because it's funny to me. Looking for an investor to try to move jub balls. She's going to talk to Caroline Stanbury to try to give her some confidence. We see Caroline Stanbury on her way to go meet with Julie, and she says, Julie's been calling me nonstop. And she and Luke tease about Julie's, instead of Julie's unbelievable balls, she calls them Julie's big fat balls. She said she could suck on her balls. She said she's happy to meet her quickly and give her any advice that she can give. But she can't be a full-time mentor right now because she can barely breathe. It's overwhelming for her because her business is not doing well at all. Julie is saying Caroline Stanbury's power and strength, and she's a bulldog in the business world. So then we see Caroline order a huge hunk of cake and a big old brownie. And Julie says, no thank you, I'm not going to eat that. And I just wonder, how? How does Caroline stay so thin and eat that? I'm so jealous. Oh my God, just watching it on TV makes me gain weight. Anyway, so Julie just has her soup and tea. She explains that there's a big investors meeting and she'll be showing her business plan, and Caroline, I believe, calls her a jittering wreck. She looks like she's been drug around by her ankles doing 6 or 7 yoga classes and pushing her jub balls. That's what Caroline says. So Julie's asking for $150,000 from investors. She's going to try to find a managing director that will make about $40,000. Caroline Stanbury says she's telling her to breathe and to think about the long-term vision. She says if you give your company away, you can't get it back. What if it explodes and you're on the brink of taking off? So she gives her some interesting things to think about, and I appreciate that Caroline's trying to help out her friend with this business and trying to give her tips on how to succeed. Okay, so it's New Year's Eve. Juliet and Gregor are hosting everybody at this club that they're members of. And it's turning 2015. Can you believe that? Holy cow. So it's Cafe Royale. They're hosting everybody. And it's going to be a fancy dinner, and then they're going to watch the fireworks that are shot by the London Eye. It just looks like a wonderful evening. This is another event where I'm like, damn, I wish I could be there. That looks like so much fun. So Juliet's running late and getting dressed. We see montage of everybody getting dressed. So I think everybody looks so good for this evening. I got to give a special shout out. I actually don't usually love what Julie Sandwich is wearing, but I love this dress. Did you see the back of it? I don't know, it just has an interesting back. It's really beautiful. Everybody's getting dressed. Everybody looks fantastic. It's a really nice night. The only one I didn't think looked great was actually Juliet. I don't understand the flapper outfit that Juliet's wearing, and it kind of has a sheer layer from the knees down. I just didn't love that, but as always, I love Caroline Stanbury's outfit. I even love Caroline Fleming's that white wrap. She had a white wrap with a black bow on it. She just looked really pretty. Sorry, a lot of these pictures are blurry because they're moving so fast, and I kept trying to pause it and take pictures, and some of them come out blurry. But anyway, there's Juliet's outfit. I just don't like that one. But everybody, even maybe if it didn't have the sheer part on the bottom, it'd look better. I just don't like that. But everybody else looks fantastic. I really love it. I mean, they all look beautiful. So everybody's greeting everybody. Juliet's saying she doesn't want to have a big emotional thing with Marissa. This is the first time they're seeing each other since that Royal Albert Hall snub. But I think it's nice that Juliet invited Marissa and Matt to join everybody. She said, this is the building where Matt and Marissa actually met. They start talking about that. Caroline Fleming says, I wish everyone peace and love and happiness and good health. She always says things like that, these platitudes. Caroline Stanbury says, the irony is Caroline Fleming has no interest in London or the social scene, so to watch Juliet cling to her is hilarious. So again, the social climbing thing comes up. Caroline Stanbury takes note when Juliet talks more to Caroline Fleming. I don't know. It almost sounds like Stanbury's a little jealous of her attention. It's kind of funny. It's funny to watch the dynamics play out. So then we see... Okay, so it's this whole thing. It's so ridiculous. Julie and Caroline Fleming are talking. They're both super into yoga. Of course, Julie teaches yoga. And they talk about doing headstands. So they kind of dare each other. They're getting silly. And they're like, oh, I can do one. I can do one too. And so they kind of decide to go in the other room and do these headstands. They're in fancy gowns. They decide to do headstands. Well, Caroline Fleming immediately gets her legs up and she looks great. Julie is going slower to get her legs up, but she's obviously in great shape, still very strong doing this. Okay. So Caroline Stanbury announces to everybody, I love that Julie is the yoga teacher and she isn't up yet. Well, Julie takes this very bad. She explains when you go slow, it's actually harder because you're using your core. So Julie ends up in the other room bawling her eyes out, just absolutely crying over this. Now, maybe she's drunk, I don't know. Maybe Caroline really did embarrass her, but I didn't think it was that bad what Caroline said. I think Caroline does do these digs, but I don't think, she is a yoga teacher, so that might be something silly, I would say, without even thinking about it. If you find out it hurts her feelings, maybe say, oh, sorry about that. But she's absolutely bawling her face off about it. And Annabelle sits and tries to console her. And she's saying, Caroline just took a massive dig at me. Annabelle is telling her over and over, breathe, just breathe, it's okay. And Annabelle says Caroline Stanbury has a mean side. She covers it up with jokes, but it doesn't make her less mean. Caroline Stanbury says, it looked like headstands to me. Really, I'm going to apologize. Oh, so it's just the whole thing. She's just like, this is ridiculous. I'll apologize, but it's just, this is silly. And Julie's saying, it's not funny. And Caroline said, I thought it was a joke. You guys are doing headstands at a dinner table. It was a throwaway comment. You see them doing a yoga pose at a formal dinner and you're not going to make a joke? Caroline Fleming is saying it wasn't a dig, it's just her humor. So it's just a weird way to end a formal dinner. You just don't expect to see things like that. So it's a New Year's celebration. Juliet explains she grew up watching London fireworks on TV growing up in Illinois. She's excited to be there. Everyone is super excited. It's a beautiful spot. I think it's so cool that they got to see the fireworks there. So everyone kisses and celebrates and has a good time. It just looks like a really cool evening. So they all go back downstairs. They're drinking. They all have rooms there at the hotel. It just sounds like a really fun evening. They're having fun. And Caroline brings out these animal onesies for everybody. So they all put them on and they're being so silly and dance around in these onesies and taking pictures. So Caroline starts posing like this. She's posing on top of Gregor. Now she's being silly. She's far away from him, and it's not like he doesn't seem super into it, or it just didn't feel that inappropriate to me. It feels like she was just drunk and being silly. I was trying to think, would it bother me? No, probably not, because she was clearly standing above him. He wasn't like touching her, she wasn't touching him. They were just being silly and posing and taking pictures. Well, Juliet came in and she was not happy. She says, hang on, did you just straddle my husband on the couch? And Caroline says, are you making a joke? And she's surprised that Juliet's taking it so seriously. And Juliet says, no, there are certain boundaries. And Caroline says, when you're dressed as a unicorn and your husband says he loves it. So that was an interesting turn I didn't see coming. Where I just remember the first time I saw this and seeing this fight, I was a little shocked. Because Juliet seems kind of up Caroline's ass. So I was kind of surprised she came at her like that. And I didn't think it was that offensive. I'm very curious what you guys think, because I just didn't find it that bad. Now, if she's actually sitting on top of him, yeah, that's kind of crossing the line. But standing up like that, I just didn't take it so seriously. So then we get a flash of next time. So next episode, it looks like it's Juliet versus Caroline Stanbury and Sophie. So of course their sister-in-laws are going to have each other's back. So that's rough. I do feel for Juliet in that case if two people are yelling at you about it. But I think they're all just drunk and I don't know. Everyone's getting drunker and drunker. Marissa is in the paper for this hot dog thing. Caroline and her husband, I never say his name right. Is it Jem? Jem. They're talking about business and how hers just unfortunately is not doing well. Caroline Fleming and her grandmother, we get to see their relationship. And then it's Juliet versus Julie Sandwich. Julie is talking about things that supposedly Caroline Stanbury said about Juliet. And Julie is accusing Juliet of trying to cower to Caroline Stanbury because she's so powerful and she's afraid of her. And it's interesting to see. So can't wait to see what happens. Can't wait to talk about it with you guys. That's it for the episode. Such a good one. Such a good season. I'm really enjoying covering this. So much fun to rewatch these and relive this and go back over it all and see it all go down. I love talking about it. Let me know your thoughts below. Really curious what you thought about the episode, whose side you're on, what you think. Just about all of it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Find me or leave me comments below. Find me on Twitter at Real Recaps. If you really want to support the show, check out my Patreon. It's only $1 a week. So $4 a month gets you 4 bonus episodes covering Scary Island, and I'll probably go on and cover that whole season with Cindy Barshop and the Morocco trip. So stay tuned. Check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.